We understood that mothering is difficult, not mothering is equally difficult, but there's one thing common in all the mothers, that they spend a lifetime in preparing their children to take that flight, so that they can soar high. But when the young ones fly away, leaving behind an empty nest, it is the mother left behind who finds herself trying to fathom as to what life beholds further. Her role changes. She has to rediscover herself. But she's always anticipating a flying visit from her little ones. माँ, मैं माँ बनकर ही तो तुझे समझ पाई. जब तूने मुझे विदा किया होगा, वो तेरा दर्द आज जान पाए. Sharing their experiences in dealing with an empty nest are three amazing mothers. We have Lily Swarn, an internationally acclaimed multilingual poet, author, columnist, and a radio show host. She has won over 70 international and national awards. Welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Renuka Salwan, the former Director of Public Relations at Punjab University, Chandigarh. She's a public relations professional with 36 years of experience and currently holds the position of Vice President North with Public Relations Council of India. Welcome, Renuka, ma'am. The third panelist is Dr. Sonika Sethi, an Associate Professor of English at SD College, Ambala, Kent. She's a columnist, an editor, and a writer with 7 books to her credit. They will be in conversation with Dr. Sangeeta Handa, a professor of English who retired as the principal of Government Renuka College, Patiala, and currently guides research scholars. 7 articles of hers are published in national and international journals. She's also written 2 books and edited a few. I welcome all these awesome mothers here, and we're looking forward to hearing what you all have to say about the emptiness.
August audience and the wonderful panelists that we have today with us, Madam Lily and Renuka and Sonika. Actually, it's very amazing that after such 2 discussions, modern mothers and single and mothers, this is going to be a different take on emptiness. The metaphor that is taken, it is an avian metaphor, and sometimes I feel that it is debatable whether the nests can ever be empty. I know that the word emptiness generates a sort of a serious note, an emotional one, but I'm sure that after discussing with our 3 panelists, there will be some other kind of take also on this serious issue. So, not taking much time, I would like to ask the question. I'll address it to Madam Lily first, and then the same question can be taken up by the 2 panelists as well. Why do you think your nest is empty? And can you please acquaint us with your life experience about that?
Thank you, Sangeeta, for that wonderful beginning. So, it's a joy to be with 2 of my favorite people here. Thank you all for being here. So, I was a mother of 2, and now I have 1 daughter. She's a dentist and she lives in Michigan, America. She's married, and I'm also a grandmother. Grandmother to 3 very sweet little grandchildren, 2 daughters and a son. So, the nest became empty pretty soon actually, because the daughter went off to study medicine, and there was just the boy at home, and he was a schoolboy. So that happened long ago, and later, now when I go home, when my husband and I open the door, it's a quiet house. So that's how I feel it's empty, because I might come across some chunky jewelry in a drawer belonging to my daughter. I might see some medals that belong to my late son. I might chance upon some music which I knew that particular child loved. So the nest has a way of, throwing up memories, though it is empty. So my way of dealing with it is to, just keep the happy memories with me. And I don't grieve, quietly. I don't mind the tears flowing. I let them flow. That's my way of healing. I don't hide behind, I only hide behind a red lipstick. Or the bright one. That's the only thing that gives me courage when I have to face the world on a somber note. But generally an empty nest, if I look out of the sitting room window and I see a birdie making a real nest with twigs, I worry for her, worry for that mother, because she's giving them the wings to fly, but she's going to be left alone. So the grieving finishes, and then then you revive, and then you find togetherness with the spouse. And we are rediscovering each other and having more fun, He's more with me, he's driving me around, and there's less to worry about tiffins and boyfriends, and munda kitte gaya, stuff like that. That's my emptiness.
Actually, thank you so much. It's a very interesting, the way you have expressed it. Actually, I was to end up and wind up my conversation, but you have already answered what I was going to ask in the end. Renuka ji, will you carry the same question and talk about your take on it?
Thank you everyone, good evening here, and such a pleasure to be part of this panel. So friends, first of all I would like to share that I am a mother to 35-year-old daughter who is married and settled in Delhi. And before that also she was away from home after studies for her career, so she had to go out. And another one is plus 31 years, she's in Paris, she's working there, moving to London in June for work only. So yes, nest is empty, but I want to add here that for parents who have brought up their children, they have put up their whole life bringing up and nurturing them, and spending time on their bringing up. It is like an umbilical cord. Once they come out, their life starts. Our duty is only till they are on their own. It is our duty to nurture them. It's no obligation on our children. It is our duty to bring them up, to give them good morals, to give them good teachings, to give them a comfortable home and the family values. After that, I think yes, when we say they are launched into adulthood, so they have to fly. They have to fly. Though it is sometimes very, very, emptiness is there in our home. But then I think it gives us joy also when you see that your children have left you for a better world. There is no choice. I think 99% of families or women sitting here or men sitting here have children who have gone out for their future. So I think we are progressing with the time. It was earlier that you study there, you stay there, you get married there, your children are there. Everything is revolving around the same city, and today children have to go. So I think it is empty. You have a lot of memories with your children, but then technology has also brought us closer to them. We can talk to them 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. They may say, why are you calling so many times? You have no other work. So this is how we have to deal with it. It is their world, they have flown, the birds have to fly, and it's our duty to just, be a support and encourage them for whatever life they have chosen for themselves. So
the next question, I come to a very young mother, Sonika, and I think her daughters have, relocated to new places very soon. So what's your take on that, Sonika?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm actually floored by that compliment. So, I need to give a brief background to why my nest is empty. See, it started 26 years ago when I was engaged to Mr. Sethi. I have not envisioned the kind of life that unfolded in front of me. हमें ये कहा गया था, my mother is sitting there, she's a witness. हमें ये कहा गया था कि लड़का ONGC में पोस्टेड है. अभी उसकी पोस्टिंग बॉम्बे हाई ऑफशोर है. 2-3 साल में उसको फैमिली स्टेशन मिल जाएगा, then the girl can move it. आज 26 साल हो गए. आज 26 साल हो गए, वो लड़का वहीं पोस्टेड है. और वो लड़का ही है. इसमें थोड़ा सा कसूर, culprit, my mom is also a party to it. You know, कोई पूछता था बेटी की शादी करोगे, तो she would give a declaration. 50 किलोमीटर के रेडियस से बाहर लड़की नहीं देनी है. बेटी को तो 26 साल से 50 किलोमीटर रेडियस में रखा हो, वो बेचारे किसी और के बेटे को हजारों किलोमीटर फेंका हुआ है. Anyway, so my husband has that kind of job. He is posted offshore, and it's like this: कि 15 days he has to stay there at Bombay High, and then for 15 days he come back to Ambala, where we are living as a family. And right now, my elder daughter, who has completed her engineering from NIT Kurukshetra, August, she's leaving for US to pursue her MS. The younger one, she qualified for her law entrance, and now she's pursuing her law honors from Nalsar, Hyderabad. So one is in Bombay, other one is in Hyderabad. The elder one, she'll be flowing to the US soon. अभी भी वो कुरुक्षेत्र में है. She's not home. So I have a job, full-time job, 9 to 2. But in the afternoons when I come back home and I unlock the door, the emptiness hits like a blast of hot air. Evenings, they are unpassing. Though I write, I keep myself busy, I keep myself involved in this or that activity, but still, sometimes evenings are so unpassable. I do not enter my kids' room. No way, I cannot do that. But sometimes I even dread to enter my own bedroom. Because there's one. Although, जिस टाइप की जॉब मेरे हस्बैंड की है, I know most of the men sitting here would love to give their right arm for it. कि 15 दिन बीवी दिखाई ही ना दे. They would love to have such kind of family settlement. But for me, of course, for 15 days it becomes an empty nest, and I really long to have somebody beside me, because I'm a very tactile kind of a person. I long for a human touch, and there's nobody to give that kind of a hug or a peck or holding hands. So that kind of feeling, yes, engrosses me at times. But I'm very fortunate. This is the platform where I must confess that I'm very fortunate that last year CLS happened to me. I entered the CLS family, and they just embraced me like a family member, and I have been so much involved with every activity that I have somehow started coming out of that emptiness feeling.
Take on it. You really made it a mix of, laughter also, and some sadness. But the thing is, sometimes I feel that
emptiness is a universal phenomenon now. Whether girls or boys, people have to relocate. And if we go by this, I'm not very good at reciting things, but जिस तरह गुरु नानक जी ने भी क्या कि सिरा कि जे ग्रो करना है तो उजड़ जाओ, this is what he said. So sometimes I feel that going away of the children, like it's not like happy emptiness the way the birds feel, because they never come back. But nowadays this exodus that is happening world over, this diaspora relocating, so it is in a way a kind of a growth for both parents also and children. And when there is so much of connectivity, that emptiness feeling is a kind of, sometimes I feel, a virtual reality only. So my next question, but I'm surprised that all the panelists today have girls actually, and the emptiness phenomena is not with the girls only, even the boys go away. What is your take on this, Madam Bibi? And then I will come to the same question should be taken up by others also. What about boys when they go?
So I had a young boy who was in his final year of engineering. He was 22 years old when he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in the 4th stage, and it was a huge tumor weighing on his heart. And one night actually he came up to our room and he says, "Okay, Mom, I can't breathe. I need to see a doctor." So this is a very, visualize a very bright person, a very popular guy who would be, in the newspaper headlines as teenage titan, young Turk, Govind Shahbaz Singh, a whole page on him. He was multi-talented. He would write, he would make Android apps, he would make music, he would teach slum children, and he was a blessing to have around. Sonamisi, he was blonde-bearded and light-eyed. Besides, he was a very tender-hearted young chap. So, he had never woken us up at night. So that day I told my husband, "Can you let me go?" But he being a Fauji, he could have easily said, "He should have But we went because the Chandimandir, command hospital is close to where we live. And the doctor there was a young chap who was, studying for his MD. He didn't look up. He said, "Ma'am, I'll give him a short up, subhe aa jana." And I name dropped. I said, "Look here, my cousin is a cardiologist. We need to see. He can't breathe." So the moment he put his, stethoscope, he said, "Oh my God, there's something wrong with his heart. You need to get him admitted." So next morning, we got him admitted and our lives changed. So he was diagnosed with, and then diagnosed wrong first, with non-Hodgkin's, given a wrong chemo, then diagnosed. So our life came to a different turn because we nursed him for 1 whole year with chemo and radiation, and then he came out of it. He was in complete remission for 3-4 months, so he had come back. So we planned our daughter's wedding. His friends gave a big party, Govind Shahbaz, welcome you back to life, and all of that. So the Gana Bajana started, and his sister's wedding was planned. And 5 days before she was to be married, she had come from the US. He died. He died on a freak treadmill test. It sounds very surreal now to me that he was not to be put on this kind of test after so much chemo and radiation on his heart. But somebody did it, and we had to lump it because his friend said, "Ma'am, we must report it. I said, "No, he's gone. What can I do? Let me just get the girl married." She had come to be married, and 5 days later, we wore our nice clothes, and all the 15 children who were going with us to the wedding had to be told, "Bache, aapne nahi jana, Govind to hai nahi duniya mein." So 2 boys went with me, and to help get the Didi married, and we all looked nice enough finally. It was like like you quoted Guru Granth Sahib, that dukh sukh asi ek saath dekhya. We lived it, so we came home to a really empty nest. The girl flew off to the US after being married with her brother not there, and we came home to a nest with no child at home. So Munde Janne te bura lagta hai, his songs come to my mind, Arif Lohar's To Be, his hand around my arm, how I would check up with him, ki main kaisi lag rahi hu, theek hai, jaao, when he would tell me, so that. It is very difficult to lose a child, and to grieve a child is even more tough.
I don't know whether I should be asking you this question because you have daughters only. Huh?
I have daughters, but I think
If you are
I
able
can-
to answer
I
that.
can add to something about this question. Yes, Lily's story is very different, and it is a moment.
Mike.
It is a lifetime.
Bring it closer.
It's horrible. So, but I have daughters, but I still feel, the mother of a son also has a very, very big responsibility in today's society, because the men are also going out. The men are going out, they are staying alone, they are managing their life. See, it was like earlier they used to stay in a family and mother was always there and grandmother was always there. And even if he is married and he is taking a cup of tea, making a tea for wife, or taking a glass of water himself, the dadi or the mother will come, oh munda, ape le raha pani, mut main deni hai. So that kind of protection was there. So in today's time, I think the onus lies on the mothers, how to bring up their children, daughters and sons equally. It is important for a mother. The challenging role lies on the shoulders of the mother, and when they go out, it is equally bad for the mothers because their children have gone out. But then I think if you raise a son in a better way, he will deal with the girl in a better way for his better life ahead. This is what I feel.
Thank you. Sonika, I would like to ask you that does this feeling of emptiness overlap with the feeling of girls finally settling in their new homes and family? Does it overlap even now? Because they have to go one day and they settle in another house. Since your children are not that grown up and not married as yet, what is your take on this?
Ma'am, I think I would like to flip this question and take that note on myself. They are young, they will adapt themselves wherever they go. It's the parents who have to struggle with the emptiness syndrome. So I would instead like to tell how I learned to cope with this emptiness syndrome. You see, I was reading Gitanjali Shree's Two Books and the other day, and there are two protagonists in the novel, Amma and Beti. And the Beti, she finds one day the Amma struggling to get up from the bed, and she is almost lost. So Beti says these words about Amma. She says, Amma immersed herself in motherhood. She lost herself in motherhood. Now she is reborn. And when a child is born, it cries, it laughs, and it learns to crawl. So I found the answer to my queries, and I thought that this is what is happening to me. For 23 years of my life, I immersed myself in motherhood. I was a doctor. I gave up my profession because when patients would come in the middle of the night, I would not leave behind my child and go and attend them. My husband would not be there. I would not leave my only child. So I gave up that profession. I am good as a housewife. Somehow things materialized in a different manner and I became a professor. Then I thought that teaching is good for my children. Teaching profession is good. I have to go for a 9 to 2 job. I come back, I send my children to school, then I leave for my job. By the time I come back, my children and my coming back time overlaps. So everything went perfectly well for those few years. I did not have any social life. I did not attend any kitty parties. I did not attend any relatives' events, marriages, birthday parties, nothing at all. I did not go to movie theaters. I did not even watch television for about 12 years. My husband always thought that if they did boxes on all the time, the kids would sit in front of it. So you try and avoid the television and let the children indulge in some creative pursuits. So we would just sit and read books. I found my solace in books during those years. But when the children left, my whole individuality, my whole being was lost. By that time I was lost. After 23 years I was lost. I did not know how to have a life of my own. I had lost my individuality somewhere down the line. So I discovered that now is the time when I should look up for something. So for all those mothers who might start with this phase, I would like to advise them, please don't lose yourself for motherhood. Motherhood is good, but you must retain your individuality somewhere. Otherwise you will be in for a shock. Believe me, after my first daughter left, I was slightly shocked, but I was prepared for that kind of a setback. But when the second one also left, I was completely, I was in dominance. I did not know what to do. And that is when friends like you started calling me for book launches, for events. And right now, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank all those friends who ever invited me.
Sonika said it very right. When the daughters leave, or when your son or daughter, anybody who leaves the house, the emptiness is there, but then there the challenge of the mother begins again. After nurturing, sending them, the challenge again begins, because with your children away from you, it is the job of the mother to see how they are now, flowering in the new environment. How they are doing in the new environment. It is not the challenge of the parents itself. It is the challenge for the young children who have gone out. So it is the double duty of the parents, the mother, to see that the child there in that environment is also settling well, and you are pushing them, encouraging them, and showing your empathy, sympathy. I'll just give you one small example. My daughter is in Paris. It is a lot of racism is also there in Europe, and no Indians are there. No Indian food is available. Indian friends are not available. French are not very friendly. So it is loneliness from morning till night. So sometimes the child, if she is crying on the phone in front of you, from 1,000 miles away, can you do anything? You cannot. If the child is in the dig, will you also start crying and fall with her? No.
I think
it is there where you have to hold yourself and push them and encourage them and give them that strength and give them that smile and push them. So this is where the strength of the mother comes. You may have tsunami inside, but then you have to bring a smile on her face.
Thank you.
That is important.
Thank you, but on the lighter side, I always feel, since my daughters are also settled abroad, and I also feel, we'll talk later about it, that when the nest is empty, the relationship between husband and wife improves also.
Yes.
Because after all that juggling, running here and there, so I think this is another kept for another day. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so